What's the good word? Peace, which we hear in a famous passage from the prophet Jeremiah. Seek the shalom of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its shalom you will find your shalom. For surely I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for your shalom and not for harm, to give you a future with hope. So shalom, that might be a word that some of you have heard before, this Hebrew term that can mean peace, but it can mean a lot more than that. But even if we just start with the word peace, well, that can mean a lot of different things, the way that we expect it, the way that we may want it. Is peace just the absence of conflict? Right? That's sometimes good enough for me. Just speaking for myself, a lot of times the peace that I seem like I'm really looking for is just to not be bothered, to be left alone, to be able to do what I want to do and not have people asking anything of me or disagreeing with me. I don't think that's really biblical peace, right? That's not what Jeremiah is talking about here. And the deeper peace that he speaks of, that Jesus speaks of, it's a little harder than that. It takes peacemaking. And so we see in this Hebrew term, shalom, that it is more than just that absence of conflict. Shalom is also about goodness. It's about welfare, right? That's one of the ways that this verse gets translated. Seek the welfare of the city. Or it's about wholeness, right? It's peace that comes when everything is right, not just when I'm getting what makes me comfortable. And so what we see here is that God asks us to seek this kind of peace and wholeness and goodness, even for our enemies. The context of this verse, it's written to Israelites who had been exiled from their home and taken to the country of Babylon. And God is making this surprising request to seek the good of these people who took you from your home. Because if you seek good for them, it's going to be good for you. You know, it's so easy to want to just rage at a bad situation and try and take it out on other people when there is injustice. And that's not to minimize that injustice, but to say that if we really want to seek peace, it's not going to just be good for me. It's even going to be good for those who might be working against me. But shalom doesn't just happen. It's something you have to work for. There's also this question of peace and God's plan. That second verse there is pretty famous because it sounds like, well, if you take it out of context, it's just saying, well, everything happens for a reason. It's all part of God's plan, so don't worry about it. And sometimes that may bring peace, but at least in my experience, and probably for a lot of us, life is a little more complicated than that. But we do see here, though, the big picture is that whatever God is doing and however things are working out in the day-to-day, in those small moments, the big picture is working towards wholeness and not brokenness. God is not trying to make things worse, but whatever we face, God is working peace and goodness out of it, if we can have the eyes to see.